Good afternoon. It's Ruth Backlund from Energy Works Myofascial Release. Let me just drop this down just a little bit here. Bear with me just a minute. Get too much. There we go. All right. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about falling out of a tree, breaking an arm or a leg, and the trauma in the tissue that is not just physical trauma, it's also emotional trauma. And we also talked about how most people can relate to a physical trauma. Not everybody can relate to emotional trauma, even though it's all packaged up together, okay? So a physical trauma is visible, people can talk about it, people can see it, and emotional trauma isn't as visible. It shows up potentially in behavioral patterns. It might show up as depression, it might show up as anxiety, it might show up as fidgetiness, it might show up as being completely disconnected or not even being able to remember part of your childhood or not even being able to remember parts of an event in your life, okay? So emotional trauma can show up that way. It could show up in other ways as well, but those are just some examples of it. So yesterday I talked about falling out of a tree and how that physical trauma and emotional trauma comes into play. Now let's say that I'm going to take that same example. I'm as a young child, yes, this actually happened, raced up a tree. My parents told me and my grandparents told me, don't climb in the trees. Scampered up the trees. My siblings were trying to scamper up after me and got in trouble. They got caught. I didn't. I was fast. That was good for me. It's still a lovely story we tell at home, so it's all good. But let's say that my siblings made it up the tree and we're all hanging up there having a good time. And let's say we're goofing around and I'm teasing them, pushing them, pretending like I'm going to push them out of the tree, and all of a sudden they fall out of the tree. Okay? What am I feeling? Now, I didn't fall out of the tree. I didn't get hurt. But, oh my gosh, I just pushed somebody I love and was goofing around with. I accidentally pushed too hard and I pushed them out of the tree and they fell down and broke their arm. Okay? So what am I feeling? The panic, the shock, the guilt, all of that, and I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm so sorry. I can't undo it. All that now becomes my emotional trauma. It isn't just, oh, well, and keep moving forward. No, that's stuck in me. Those bad feelings, the guilt, the worry, all that scaredness, all that fear, that's now all trapped in me at the same time. And it doesn't go away overnight. How many of you have had a situation go on, an argument that, you're arguing with a friend or a spouse or a coworker or something, and you keep playing it over and over and over in your head? Okay, it's not a one and done. We fester over it. And all that time, that's affecting your body. It's getting stuck in your tissues. So that's an example of trauma, emotional trauma, in the absence of injury of you physically, but it is still affecting you, okay? So wanted to give that example today of trauma in the tissues without something visible, without having an actual injury, yet it can still affect your body and can show up in different ways. So, all right, I'm going to wish you a nice Friday. I'm going to sign off and get some more work done, and hope that helped you understand a little bit more some of the differences between trauma in the tissues, physical versus emotional, and they're both related, but they don't have to be 100% occurring at the same time. All right, have a good day.